God promised the land from the river of Egypt to the great river, the Euphrates. So God will give back all the land. And God promised him the land of Israel as an eternal inheritance in Shechem. And so this was the first covenantal altar that Abraham built. And then God took him to Bethel. And Jacob went back and purchased the land in Shechem, but also in Bethel, they also purchased the land in Bethel. This was the second covenantal altar that Abraham built. Then he built another one in Hebron, which God promised as an inheritance to Caleb. And that's the place of the patriarchs. And that's the third covenantal altar that Abraham built. The fourth one that he built was in Jerusalem, where Abraham offered up Isaac, and where Yeshua was offered up. This is an eternal covenant that God made with Abraham in these locations. Israel possesses the land forever. It's their possession. They're to be the stewards over the land that God owns. He gave it to them as an eternal inheritance. And so we see all the warfare going on today is because the Muslims, they don't accept the covenant that God made with the Jewish people.
최근 예루살렘 성전산에서는 수백 개의 하프가 수백 명에 의해서 연주되는 일이 있었습니다. 하프로 주님을 찬양하는 것을 하프 워십이라고 하는데요. 저도 그 장면을 영상을 통해서 봤는데 그 사운드와 모습들이 얼마나 아름답고 또 환상적이든지요. 하프 모양도 아름답고 또 소리가 곱다는 것은 이미 잘 알고 있는 일이지만 다른 것도 아니고 과거 솔로몬의 성전과 또 헤롯 성전이 있었던 그 자리에서 이렇게 수백 명이 한꺼번에 하프로 연주하고 있다는 것이 또 의미가 굉장히 남다르다 이렇게 생각이 되더라고요. 그 하프 찬양단을 직접 구성하고 또 여러 명들에게 하프를 직접 가르치는 것뿐만 아니라 성전산에서 이렇게 우리가 함께 하프로 워십을 하자라고 제안을 하신 분이 바로 예루살렘 기도의 집의 대표이신 탐 헤스 목사님의 사모님이죠. 케이트 목사님의 제안으로 인해서 그런 일들이 이루어졌다고 합니다. 그래서 오늘은 케이트 목사님과 함께 하프 워십, 하프 영성, 그리고 또 어쩌다가 이렇게 성전산에서 수백 명이 함께 그런 놀라운 장면을 연출할 수 있었는지 그런 이야기를 들어보려고 합니다. 목사님 반갑습니다. 안녕하십니까? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
이게 하프군요. 우선 하프 연주 좀 잠깐 좀 부탁 좀 드려도 될까요?
Sure. Yeah.
제가 그 영상을 봤어요. 성전산에서 이렇게 목사님을 중심으로 수백 명의 하프 연주자가 동시에 이렇게 연주하는 걸 봤는데, 목사님께서 그분들에게 이렇게 하프도 가르쳐 주시기도 했고, 또 그 성전산에서 이렇게 우리 다 같이 하프 연주 합시다라고 제안을 하셨다고 이렇게 얘기를 들었어요. 그런 제안을 하시게 된 어떤 특별한 계기가 있으셨습니까?
So there's a very big reason behind it. It's a very good question because why is this happening? And we know that it's happening because God has written it in His Word. We began to see, Pastor Tom received a vision for the restoration of the Tabernacle of David and for the restoration of harp worship as the primary instrument in the Tabernacle of David. And so this was at the beginning when we first started the House of Prayer that Pastor Tom bought a harp. It's still in the prayer tower, the original harp. But it took many years actually for this vision to come. And it says in Revelation, the book of Revelation, it talks about in Revelation 5:8 that there's 24 elders that are around the throne of God, and they each have harps, and they also have bowls, and the bowls are filled with the incense of the saints, of the prayers of the saints. So each elder is before the throne. So we know that in heaven, the throne room of God is actually surrounded by these elders playing harps. So this was the first biblical precedent. Of course, we know that King David was the epitome. He's given us most of even modern day worship is based on the words of King David in the Psalms, and he played the harp. So in this, now we see there's an end time progression with the harp. It was hidden. It was a revelation that was hidden. And now this revelation has opened because we see Revelation 5:8, but then we go to Revelation 14. And in Revelation 14, it says that there will be 144,000 from the 12 tribes of Israel, and they will be on Mount Zion. By the way, Mount of Olives is in the ancient times called Mount Zion. And Mount of Olives is called Upper Zion, and Mount Moriah is called Lower Zion. So we know that Mount Zion represents Jerusalem, it represents Mount of Olives, and it also represents Temple Mount. And it says that there will be a lamb standing on Mount Zion, and there will be 144,000 men, not women. Most people think of the harp as women, but it's men who are from the 12 tribes of Israel, and they will be playing harps on Mount Zion with the Lamb standing in the midst of them. And then we see these just different scenes in the Bible, and we go to Revelation 15, and it says there is the throne of God again, there's the sea of glass, and every overcomer in the end times will be on the sea of glass. And it says they were given harps by God. And this gets me very excited because I play now a simple wooden man-made harp, but one day I will be given a harp, and every overcomer will be given a harp from God. I don't know if He makes them Himself or the angels make them. Who makes these harps? I don't know. But I know we will receive our eternal instrument of worship that will be suited, created, crafted for ourselves, for each person to worship God eternally. Not an instrument that can be corrupted or destroyed on this earth, but an eternal instrument that we will worship God forever before His throne. So this instrument of the harp, God is now unveiling, I believe, the secrets, the significance of the harp in our time, so that we can worship Him in the way that He desires to be worshiped. I would never say that it's the only instrument to worship God by any means, but I know that this instrument has a very special value to God. If God says this is the sound He wants surrounded His throne, then we need to, as His followers, we need to understand what is the value of this instrument, which I'm glad to share more about for those who are interested.
그 장면을 그 영상으로 보는 저도 굉장히 감동을 받았는데 직접 그곳에서 연주하셨던 분은 얼마나 또 감동적이었을까 이런 생각을 하게 되는데 어떻습니까? 그날 이렇게 현장에서 수백 명이 같이 하프 연주하면서 찬양을 할 때 하나님의 특별한 임재하심을 느끼고 또 굉장히 어떤 성령의 감동을 많이 이렇게 느끼셨을 것 같아요. 그때 그날의 소감을 좀 얘기해 주시죠.
Well, to be honest, now we had even the year after the 144, we had over 200. I don't say the numbers anymore. The Lord gave me that year, he said 144. And he said it because it was representative of the 144,000. He said, this is a prophetic act of something that is coming soon. And each one of you is representing like this 144,000, like 144 times 1,000. And I have to say it was one of the most difficult things that God has asked me to do. There was many times. It was like a woman in labor. And I felt something, it was very heavy. We say kavod, which is the heavy weight of God's presence. So I felt very heavy at different times, but I knew it was God. I said, either it is God or I'm crazy. Because if it's God, it will be 144 exactly. And every day the number is fluctuating. It's going up and down and up and down. I said, if it's God, it will be 144 exactly. And on that day, it was exactly 144. We cannot control this outcome. And I want to share this. I have my own experience, very deep experience. But there was one of my friends, her 14-year-old son came that day. She was one of the harpists. And her son, he took off his shoes. And he said, this is holy ground. And he said to his mom, I feel Yeshua, like the presence was so strong, and we feel the magnitude of the prophetic act that he said, I think Yeshua is coming today. And I was feeling this way. I said, I don't know, Tom, exactly what this is, but I said, if Jesus doesn't come today, I don't know what is after this. I don't have any sense that there's something after. And then, there's the scriptures. It says on the Mount Moriah, on the Temple Mount, the Lord has put his name forever. And he kept bringing to us the Aaronic benediction. The Lord bless you. The Lord keep you. The Lord cause his face to shine upon you. And always, what does that mean? The Lord cause his face to shine upon you. Who is the face of God? It says Yeshua is the face of God on earth. So like it said the one true God who, in the face of Yeshua. So we know God because he sent his son Yeshua. So that day, actually, I had this several times, but I felt this very intense a shining of the face of Yeshua. And I had revelation of the Aaronic benediction in that place, because all of a sudden I see very bright light shining on the Temple Mount. I said, what is this? It's the face. May his face shine brightly upon you. And it was like, this is the face of Yeshua. When we say the Aaronic benediction, I saw the face of Yeshua shining on us, and I can say now, I cannot go through life. If I didn't know his face is shining on me, how can we go through this life? It's too difficult, right? And after this, we know less than like a year later, this nation was attacked. And so we saw this, like, I can feel his light is shining upon us. And from that day, I feel something. After that day, I said, I feel not depressed, but I feel, I think I fulfilled my purpose. I couldn't think, what else can I do now? because now this was what God asked us to do. I can't think what is next. What do we do now? And he said, now this veil on the nation of Israel, he said, I will shine my face on Israel. I will shine my face. They will see my face. And it's something I can't explain really deeply what I saw and experienced. And sometimes God lets me to see some scenes in heaven from when I was a child. I told my parents when I was 8 years old, I will see Jesus return with my eyes. Not in heaven or not in a movie or something. I said at 8 years old, I don't know what I'm saying. I said, I will see him with my eyes. I will see him return. My parents go, who told you this? Because we don't have this teaching about the end times. So I have this and I start to see many things in my mind. I saw visions, I had dreams, I had many things, and I don't talk about it. For many years, I don't talk about. I say some things. So I saw that day also 144 Harvest. I see the face of King David also. And he was smiling. He was very joyful in heaven. God let me see something like this. I see him very happy. And he was saying, I was longing to see this day. It was like King David was saying, I was the first fruits. But now it is the time of the restoration of the tabernacle of David. And it was like God let him see for some moments. Now the fullness of the nations are coming in and they join with Israel. And they can worship together. It's a mystery of the priesthood. And David is a mystery too, because he was Jew and Gentile. Because he come from Ruth and he came from the Jews. He came from both, King David. So he has this, one day God told me, King David has the heart of Ruth. But what is his special heart? The heart Ruth had. Ruth chose to join herself to the Jewish people. And he had this inside of him. He had a special heart because he had he had the promise, the covenant, but he also had his great-grandmother was Ruth. And Ruth had this consecrated heart of the Gentiles to join themselves to with the Jewish people, with the nation of Israel. So he said, one day God told me, King David has heart like his great-grandmother, Ruth, and to worship the God of Israel. And so I see now the fullness that we're coming to of the Jew and the Gentile. And there was a mystery because they don't think the Gentiles can be priests. So we know now we are entered into the priesthood, because it says it even in the scriptures about Isaiah 56. It says, even I will bring the Gentiles and they will be joined and they will be part of the house of prayer for all nations, because they will honor the Sabbath and they will be joined and they will have a place in my house. So God started to show me all this, how all of this is connected. And it was the seed of King David, his life of being the Jew and the Gentile coming together. And now the fullness of the tabernacle of David, which is the fullness of the nations being joined to Israel, but also the Jews now return to their calling to be the priesthood, the Levites. So it's a wonderful time that we're in. It's a difficult time, but it's a wonderful time that God is truly revealing his heart for the nation of Israel, and also for all nations to be grafted in to the olive tree of God.
다윗의 하프가 지금 목사님이 이렇게 연주하셨던 하프하고 모양이 비슷한 겁니까? 아니면 다른 모양입니까? 저도 이렇게 좀 하프를 연주하고 싶은데 배우는 거는 어렵지 않습니까?
Yeah, there's actually quite a number of versions of the harp in the tabernacle. So David probably had a special harp as a child, But when they started the tabernacle, they had many, we've studied the various harps. Even I have some books. We've done some studies. So they did have a variety of harps. But I would say whoever God calls to play this instrument, he gives them, I actually say it's anointing. We can learn, we teach many people, but some people I see they can play in 1 week.
1 week?
Yeah, some people in 1 month. No, really. We watch anointing on the people. We do all the teaching. They go in the prayer watch, but very quickly, I become like, for me, it took me a couple years. Because I had like, God, how I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? And we build in the first couple years from 2010. But now I watch very quickly in 1 month, the people are in the same level as 2 years. They go very quickly. And I see like, the parable, it says, Jesus told the disciples, he said, those who come in the 11th hour will receive the same as those who came in the first hour. So I'm laughing because I'm in the first hour, but now the ones who come now, they quickly come to the same level. So I think this is also the anointing of God.
12월 달에 타면스 목사님이 이제 한국에 와서 저희와 함께 세미나를 하실 예정인데 그때 케이트 목사님도 같이 오실 거잖아요. 그래서 한국 분들 앞에서 또 하프 연주도 좀 해주시고 하프도 가르쳐 주시고 그랬으면 좋을 것 같아요.
I would love to, and I will practice. I would very much love to, we're very honored that you invited us. We're very much looking forward. And I'm going to have to practice with my Korean brothers and sisters. I'm going to sing more Korean. I have to sing in Korean, right? I need to practice my songs. I know, like, 축복합니다.
Oh, yeah.
I need to practice. I'm going to be practicing songs in Korean that I can sing when I'm with you. And thank you for your invitation. I really want to see this vision expand with you and in Korea with the biblical basis of the restoration of the Tabernacle of David and exalting Yeshua, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, and also as you have done, to be a blessing to the covenant nation of Israel.
감사합니다. 그 한국에서의 우리 케이트 목사님 한국말 잘하셔요. 한국에서의 그 하프 연주도 잔뜩 기대하고 있겠습니다. 마지막으로 케이트 목사님 하프 연주 한 곡만 더 해주시면서 오늘 인터뷰 마쳤으면 좋겠는데 해주실 수 있으실까요?
So this song is called Hine lo yanum ve'lo yishan shomer Israel. This is from Psalm 121. He who keeps Israel will never slumber nor sleep. Hine lo yanum ve'lo yishan